Books, in my opinion, provide a remarkable opportunity to open our hearts and our minds to new ideas and new perspectives. And every once in a while, a book will come along that is life-changing. Our next guest has written a book that has done just that for me, and I have a sneaking suspicion it could do the same for you. Joining us now in our studio is Robert Ohotto, intuitive life strategist and author of Transforming Fate into Destiny. Here's the book in my hand. Welcome to the show.
Welcome. It's great to be here.
Now, the book, again, Transforming Fate into Destiny. I know a lot of people who are watching this morning are thinking, okay, fate, destiny, those two words often seem interchangeable, but they're different. Define the two words for me.
Sure. Well, fate is really the sense of what we are born into in this life, the kind of limits that we experience. Very basically, I mean, the family we come from, the culture we come from, the bodies we're in. Mm-hmm. And if you could extrapolate from that, it's even more than that. It's also the patterns that we're born into, the different kind of belief systems we're born into. Now, destiny becomes, what do you do with all of that? How do you, through consciousness, develop and co-create a life path?
So with our fates, like you said, our family, the things that we experience, I guess, here, how do you marry this idea that we've made this agreement before we get here with fate, the fates, if you will,
sure,
as to what our life is going to be? How do you get people comfortable with that notion? How do you get that idea in someone's head and make them feel good about it?
Well, the truth is that this is a very divinely designed universe. So there's no accidents. Everything's happening in some sort of orchestrated way, including our life purpose. So we have these agreements that we form, I think, from the level of our soul before we come here, is a certain sort of experience in consciousness, a trajectory of purpose. And that's what the fate contains. But what we do with that once we're here through our compassion and the choices we make and the empowerment we pursue in ourselves determines our destiny. So
that's how we turn the fate into destiny.
That's how we transform it.
In the book, one of the things that I loved, you have to master 5 concepts in order to really be able to do this well, to turn our fate into destiny. Tell us what those 5 concepts are.
Well, the first one that's very, I think, missed a lot by people is acceptance. Mm-hmm. So if we can't accept where we are or what we're working with as our fate or the basic building blocks of our lives, we can't do anything with them because what you don't acknowledge can't be transformed.
Right.
So that's the first step. You have to accept what you've got on your plate, the hand you've been dealt. Mm-hmm. And then from there, you can start to look at what your options are, what are your choices. And that requires going inside and becoming very mindful of what's authentic for you, what's connected to the center. And then from there, it's about also bringing in some idea of the divine. What is my deeper divine self about? And that's surrender, surrendering to that inner focal point. So that's surrender. So we've got acceptance, authentic choice, surrender, and then through that surrender, bringing in the divine through prayer. I think that we can invoke the universe, whatever you want to call it, God, to help us create our lives. And then from there, you want to energize the maximum positivism of your life through the law of attraction, through thinking, being positive, being grateful. And then with those things on deck, you're set off to live your fullest potential. One
of the things that I found most empowering about that when I was reading, this idea of acceptance, because when you accept, you have to get rid of this notion of right, wrong, just, unjust, fair and unfair, which we live in a culture that kind of focuses us on the just and the unjust. But we need to accept those things and not look at the world as black and white, right?
Right, because the bottom line is things are going to happen to us every day that we're going to find unfair. You know, and that's the victim inside of us, and that victim consciousness that you're talking about is very pervasive in this culture. That's why we're so litigious. We want to sue, we're sue happy, we want to sue people to make things right. But the reality is, if you stay in that space, your purpose will pass you by because you're going to be fighting for that ego's need to be right or wrong, and you get polarized in that paradigm. And then the other options to move yourself forward, or what something happening to you is meant to build in your character, get missed, and then you lose the footing.
You lose the opportunity.
Yeah, you lose the opportunity of the lesson.
Now, when it comes to authentic choice, and I would love to be able to get to all 5 in detail, but authentic choice also spoke to me. How do you know if you are listening to your inner self, if you are really getting to your authentic choice?
That's a really great question, and it's a complex one because I think that in this day and age in media and everything that's going on, we're always being told what we should want, to be happy, to be successful, what that means. But authenticity is about going inside and sitting with the self and saying what really is going to speak to me. And to know that, you have to know what your passion is. And passion is something that drives you, gets you wanting to get out of bed in the morning, makes you feel like you're living something that's meaningful. And ultimately, I think our passion when it comes to the soul and the inner self and our authenticity is connected to wanting to serve life. So service to others and through what's unique about you, what you want to explore in your own being, that's where you get into the place of making authentic choices, is what really speaks to what I'm trying to birth into who I am in this life.
Is that the real secret to life, this idea of service?
Yes, that is the real secret, because you can't just take something that your ego wants and put it on some sort of vision board and expect it to manifest in your life with that sort of magical notion of thinking. It really takes a lot of other things. Action, you've got to be disciplined, you've got to really commit, and you've got to do the soul work, because you're here to really, destiny is really about serving other people. It's not just about having something or getting something from life. It's about giving something and having this reciprocity of energy flow between what you're giving and what's being brought back to you through what you give. So those pieces become the building blocks of purpose. You really have to have those in place to really live the fullest, I think, destiny you can in this life.
This fantastic book. I just can't say enough about it. It's been so great to have you here on the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's my pleasure. Thank you very much.
And thank you for all of the information.
Excellent.
We appreciate you being here. Now, if you would like to find out more about Robert Ohotto and his work as an intuitive life strategist, or if you would like to get a copy of this book, Transforming Fate into Destiny, check out ohotto.com.